No, it wasn't a decision I took lightly. I mean, it's a one-way door.
Yeah.
I can't like put that genie back in the bottle.
But it's okay if we sort of bring it up on live stream. I just wanted to
for sure.
clarify, because obviously it's now public information, but still sort of trickling out into the real world. I think people were very much shocked when you walked out. The people were like, wait, where's the mask?
Yeah, I think from the people I respect a lot, all of them have said it was like the right call. So
okay,
yeah,
okay. Did you have like a secret Telegram group where you were like voting?
No,
open poll.
I kind of made I've been thinking about it for the last few months, but I made the decision last minute. I kind of the previous night, I just decided I don't think I'm gonna wear the mask tomorrow. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So it was a decision you did not make lightly. It's been the talk of the town for the last 24 hours. You were introduced, you went onto the main stage without the mask, and there was absolute silence in the room. I just luckily happened to be walking here to the Solana Floor live stream booth, and it was a surprise for everyone. And I think
we got to see it.
Yeah,
we got to see
we got to see it happen.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Emotional moment for you, or was it you were completely resigned to the idea because you'd obviously thought about it deeply and you thought this is the right thing to do? I'm gonna walk out on stage without the famous mask, and this is the future for me now.
Yeah, to me, some people ask oh, you should walk out with your mask and then take it off and make it a big moment.
The big reveal.
I mean, I guess there may be some marketing value to that. I just I don't know. I just wanted to give the talk. So yeah.
Talk to me about what the talk was about then. I think people were way too shocked to actually listen to what was going on. I saw a bunch of messages coming through, but what were you announcing?
Yeah. So I didn't really announce anything. It was more just pitching why an entrepreneur should launch an ownership coin. Because I obviously want more high quality founders and businesses launching MetaDAO.
Yeah. Well, that's been a pretty predominant problem on Solana is coins that hold value, coins that have utility. And I think that you guys are really attacking that in a unique way.
Yeah.
Right? Do you want to just kind of talk about ownership coins in general and how it goes to solve that problem? Or is that the problem you're going to solve, I guess, first of all?
Yeah, sure. So I guess one way to frame the problem in a crypto native way is the central problem of coins has been rugs, as in sometimes you will I don't know, buy a coin in ICO, team literally just takes the money, or maybe the project actually does well and then team just takes the money instead of that ever going back to the coin. And so our approach to that is twofold. It's we have a legal structuring component where the IP is actually owned by this entity that is not fully under the team control.
Okay.
And then there's this market oversight aspect of it where the treasury is actually also not fully within the team control. They have some ability to maneuver there and to spend money, but they can't just walk away with all the money. And they need to go through a proposal process if they want to spend a large amount. And so I would say that's kind of the central idea.
That's awesome. So you're basically preventing them from rugging. You're preventing companies
trying to mitigate the risk. I think you can never fully prevent rugs, right? Because I mean, if you to fully prevent rugs, if someone spends $10 incorrectly, stupidly, maybe that's a rug, but you can never really prevent something like that.
Yeah, I feel people governance tokens have essentially turned into meme coins at some point, right? Or there are a lot that are, right? And I feel it's been a shame when there's some of the top protocols or very, very well-run businesses that generate a lot of money, and then they have this token sitting on the side that's not worth anything, and the chart just looks like this.
Right.
It's what do you do about that? How do you think about that? Because a lot of times when we're in crypto, so we see all right, this is the protocol. Let's take a look at their token, and it's it's hard to justify the difference there, right? Is that one of the core problems where it's all right, they should have a better token. There should be more structure to this, and you guys are providing that.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that's really what we're trying to do. Because I think in 2021 you could get away with launching a corpo meme coin, launching a coin that was in name connected to the business, but not in actuality connected to the business. But today people have wisened up to this game. And if you don't have some sort of alignment or ownership in the coin, I think you're like trending towards zero pretty much.
Yeah, we just had Austin Federa on here, and he said that so there's tokens out there like that. There's nothing really going on for them. What people do is they just announce buybacks. And he's like, that's the most mid-curve thing that you could do. That's not
totally agree.
It's not solving the problem at all.
Yeah.
It's like maybe a band-aid, a short-term solution, pumponomics, whatever you want to call it. But like that's not solving the problem.
Yes. The problem is like, you can't trust them. Like, if it's kind of actually similar to like U.S. equity markets before there was like the securities regs, where you had all this like rampant insider dealing, and if there was no buybacks, like you don't really know if that money is ever going to go to you. And so you kind of, it's like the only credible signal, like, okay, you're going to get some of this money, but then the problem is just this like essentially a huge waste of capital, right? If you're an early stage business, startups, like early stage startups or even like later stage for like Stripe are not like buying back their equity. They're reinvesting into the business to grow the business. So yeah, I totally agree. It's a band-aid.
Yeah. Okay. So there's equity and then there's tokens, right? There's always been kind of a disconnect between them because like the SEC has never allowed it, right? You essentially couldn't have like securities on chain.
Yeah.
Is this like towing the line in between there, or how do you think about that?
Yeah, my lawyers would not like me very much.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah.
But maybe what's the right way to think about that, such that you don't get into trouble with compliance officers, legally speaking? Like we're in an industry that's, borne the brunt of the wrath of, Gary Gensler, SEC for 4 years. A bunch of companies left the US. We're in an environment here in the UAE where the ADGM and the VARA over in Dubai have been very, I would say, smart and forwards thinking in the way that they regulate. They've had tailor-made regulation, specialized regulation. Over in Singapore, we have the MAS, also much nicer to operate under than, let's say, the Gary Gensler regime. But now we're in a situation where I think companies are thinking about relocating back to the US because it's not so combative.
Yeah.
You're
likely to not get debanked. So with that shift in mind, what is the right way to think about this?
I mean, a couple ways to think about it. Like, how I personally think about it. One is I think crypto has always been kind of a gray area, right? Like, you could argue if Satoshi went to lawyers and was like, "Hey, should I launch this Bitcoin thing?" They'd definitely tell him no, right? They'd be like, "Hey, this is an unlicensed money transmitter. You need to KYC everyone."
But that was the beauty and the allure of it, right? People wanted some sort of counterculture that was, right at the heart of it, that cypherpunk movement. So, without wanting to break the law, obviously, but
exactly. So yeah, I think like you kind of have to accept some gray area if you're going to be a founder in crypto. And then I think we watch all what's happening on the Hill and like the regulations that are developing, the guidance that's coming out. And yeah, I think it makes sense to like basically be informed about what's happening.
Yeah, that's awesome. One thing that I want to bring up, so like ICOs in general, like have great product market fit in crypto. Right?
Yeah,
like we had ICO
it's a great
season.
product actually.
It really is, right? Like it's a benefit to a lot of people if it's done right, and the fact that it's coming back and that this is, you guys are providing a way to do it where people can't get rugged, I think it's fantastic. Like,
mitigating the rug risk.
Yeah. I guess. Sorry. Yeah.
We don't want to get into trouble with compliance. We also don't want to get into trouble, but mitigating the rug risk.
Great.
But yeah, it's very exciting that you're able to do that, right? And you guys have had, how many is it? 3 now that you've done?
7.
7 that you've done.
Yeah.
And they've gone fairly well. Like I looked at a couple of them and they were oversubscribed by like a significant amount of money.
By a huge amount.
Right. Yeah.
Thoughts? Do you feel like the job? I feel like we've proved our worth now.
So the oversubscription thing, I don't pay that much attention to how much dollars is committed. Like some people are like, oh, this is how much demand there is for the project.
Yeah.
I don't see it that way. The problem with like it's called a pro rata cap system, is that if you see something is like 10x oversubscribed, then you're incentivized to put in 10x the USDC as you actually have allocation for, which then makes it even more oversubscribed. And so, I think the number that I'm proud of is the like $25 million that we raised for founders. many who like high quality founders. And so, yeah.
Awesome. So if there's a founder out there that is looking to launch on your platform, like what do you recommend? Like, how are they reaching out to you? What's that process like?
Yeah, I mean, if you're building something crypto native that's like early stage, ideally you have an MVP and maybe you have some users, like maybe between like, it could be even 100 people. I think that's so much more valuable than 0. And yeah, you can literally just DM. I mean, we want to speak to you, those people. So if they just DM us on Twitter, on Telegram, either me or my co-founder, Colin, the process is just like, we talk to you, we figure out like what you're doing, and like if we think it makes sense, if it aligns with what we're doing, and then we go from there.
Oh, that's awesome. So you kind of do a little vetting, see what they're up to, really like understand, and then move forward.
Yeah.
I want to ask about the word futarchy.
I hate it.
A lot of people loved it. A lot of people hated it. I think the first reaction most people when they read the word futarchy is that, like, huge question mark. Explain what futarchy means in a crypto context. You hate it. A lot of people are like, let's move away from it to something a little bit more palatable. The word ownership makes more sense. Who came up with the word futarchy in the first place?
Yeah, Robin Hanson did. Who's an economist who actually invented the whole idea of decision markets and using markets to make decisions. And if you talk to, I asked him, like, why'd you name it futarchy? And he said, I wanted a word that felt kind of like very new and like cool and weird almost to
well, I think he won.
Yeah, or like revolutionary. He wanted something that felt revolutionary to attract people to work on the problem. And I do think I don't know, maybe it did increase my probability of like starting to work on this thing. So kudos to him, and it did serve us at one point to also call it that, like if we were trying to build a community and get people excited about what we're building here. But now, like, it's not the right word for us because, yeah, when you're a founder, you're not like, you're trying to build a business, you're trying to build an enterprise. You're not like, even if you were going to use a token voting DAO in the past, you're not like trying to build a democracy, right? You're just trying to build a business. At least like, maybe that's what you should be doing. And so, yeah, the word futarchy, I don't use it anymore, just because like I don't think it helps us.
And the decision to move away from that, was there any pushback from the team? Were people like, no?
Oh yeah, people didn't like it at the very start. People also didn't like ownership coins, but I think both of those have been like good terms in the lexicon.
So reasonable follow-up, I guess, is what's going to be next. Are we gonna get bored of the word ownership, and then there'll be another?
I think ownership coins is pretty good. Good. Maybe MetaDAO could be like, the word DAO has scarred a lot of people.
It has. People definitely have question marks about that as well. But interesting. So extrapolate the developments into, let's say, the next 36 months. Where do you expect it to go? You've had 7 successful launches. Most have been extremely oversubscribed. People have had criticism and said, it makes it a bit of a whale's game, for better or worse. 36 months from now, what are we looking at? Yeah,
I mean, I do think this is the product, this is the platform that gets us to where we want to be. Like, as in, early on so MetaDAO's been a thing for like a year and a half, like a venture funded thing. And for the first year, really like up until 2 months ago, it was like really painful because I don't think we really had a product that like, was that useful. But now it finally feels like we have something that is, and now it's a matter of like, how do we scale this thing up? And so, yeah, I don't expect, maybe I'll be wrong, but I think like this is the strategy, and it won't be like huge changes in MetaDAO's strategy. It'll be like incremental improvements that we make on the product and on distribution, like on how we market the thing and everything that I see over the next 36 months.
But you definitely don't see any like nuclear scenario where you have to sort of go back to the drawing board and re-prove and iterate on the usefulness of the core product. It's done now. We're here. This is the future.
I mean, it's highly possible. Like, everything is new, so it's hard to like really say definitively. Also, in crypto, it's like very easy to delude yourself that you have PMF when you actually don't.
I guess the core of the question is about PMF, and to what extent market conditions can change and sort of jeopardize the PMF that you have found, and How much staying power does PMF really have in crypto?
Right.
How do you think about these things long term?
I think there's above a 50% chance that like a year or two from now, we're still working on this exact strategy and just like improving it.
And that excites you because you're here now, you've found the PMF temporarily and full laser focus for the next 36 months.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's awesome. I think it's a unique solution to it too. I think it's good. What do you think about other protocols like merging into MetaDAO? Like, hey, like we've got this treasury here, we've got a token, like we don't know what to do with it. Like we launched it in 2021, it does nothing. We tried buybacks, it's not working. Like, can we come onto your platform? Is that something that you would ever entertain?
Yeah, we'll entertain it. Yeah. I think historically we haven't had a lot of interest there, or like there is interest, but if you're a larger project, the risk reward is just like different in that you don't really need to do this, especially if you've been around since 2021 and like you as the founding team have like taken out enough money to retire, like versus an entrepreneur that comes to me and like needs to raise money, needs to grow his business with like a fire under his ass. So we definitely like will onboard you. I think historically, like some of these larger projects are relatively risk averse or like too risk averse to do something as like new as this. So, but yeah, I mean, I think over time, as we prove out the system more, it could make more sense. Yeah,
and as I think about Solana, 2025 was a lot more on the institutional side, right? Onboarding a lot more of them, where at least we think and we hope that 2026, we're going to see a lot more apps, a lot more protocols being launched on Solana, right? A lot more builders that are actually building. So for you to really like find your stride in 2025 like you have, I think that this is like a setup that's really set to launch like really high. What are your thoughts on that? Is that kind of what you see 2026 being?
Just like scaling the platform?
So scaling the platform and just having like a lot more builders building things. It seems like the right time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I think for sure.
So you mentioned the year of institutional adoption. JP Morgan was on stage just a second ago. They've announced a bunch of stuff. We've had, $1 trillion asset managers here. Franklin Templeton was sat right where you're sat right now yesterday. We had Mike Reed, turns out he's a bit of a degen, which is really cool. Sweep was launched, right? So State Street, $5.3 trillion asset manager. These numbers are absolutely astronomical when you think about the total value of crypto. How does that make you feel as a sort of crypto native? Should we be concerned, I suppose, that we're losing the ideological, ethos-driven reasons that all brought us here to build on chain? Or is it just, it's fine, they can exist on chain and we can exist on chain and nothing to see?
Yeah, I'll give you the spicy take, which is like, it doesn't bother, like, I don't think about it really at all because they're not going to do anything. Or maybe they will, but it takes so long. I mean, yeah, people in crypto, like back in 2016, there were big investment banks being like, blockchain, not crypto. We're going to move all of our settlement on chain. And yeah, like blockchains are the future. And yeah, we saw like what R3 Corda, like IBM blockchain, all these enterprise blockchain stuff. Like none of it really went anywhere. Of course, we do see some interesting stuff on chain by institutions. I guess there's Biddle, like that BlackRock thing. Yeah. But these big institutions, just like they're so big, financial institutions move so slow. And then there's always the God, what is it called? The like. There's the Clay Christensen book about Innovator's Dilemma. Exactly. Yeah. Just like, incumbents generally are not the ones bringing through a new paradigm shift. Right. Like, I don't think that like these guys are like super excited to go like write smart contracts and like engage in crypto Twitter and like play the game that exists in the field today. Yeah. So they're just trying to be relevant. Is that what it is? They're trying to appeal to a young, cool audience. They don't want to be the boring uncles in suits. I think that is like a lot of it, actually. I mean, look at why companies have like an innovation team. Right. And then like that innovation team doesn't actually like move the business that much. Right. They have to create new businesses because if they innovate too fast, they threaten the core reason why the business exists in the first place. Yes, but they need a compelling story to like say in shareholder meetings and stuff. So by
when you say they're not going to do anything, you mean they're not going to do anything on chain? They're just going to put a bunch of assets there and.
Yeah, I think they're just what they're going to do is not going to be that compelling. Like it's going.
Yeah.
For just users in general.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm open to being proven wrong. I just like, I've been here a long time. I've seen so many announcements of like, Visa's doing this, JP Morgan's doing this, we're doing our own blockchain, and then like all of it is just rounded to zero. I mean, has there been like a single big financial institution that's done something that's been like really important to like what exists today in crypto?
I would struggle to pinpoint a single one that has been monumental and made more of a splash beyond the headlines.
Right. I guess Fidelity has like a Bitcoin custodian. That's literally the only thing I can think of.
Right. I mean, we want them on chain, I guess, to a certain extent. We want them staking some of their assets. But something that's spun out from this discussion of institutional adoption is ETFs. Okay, most people argue it's net positive. Fine, not too much to discuss there. DATs, on the other hand, that goes. People seem to think that there is some systemic risk there. If they take on too much debt, they're forced to sell their soul, MNAVs compress, debt spiral, not great for Solana. What do you think about that? Is it something that bothers you?
I don't know that much about DATs, to be honest. I would like to learn some more. But,
yeah. Well, they're around. You can talk to them. Maybe you can go and ask them, now that your mask is off, they probably won't recognize you.
Yeah.
You can ask them to what extent they pose systemic risk. Now, we want to end on a super bullish note, but on a personal note, is the mask here? Did you even come with the mask?
Yeah, I can.
The mask is around?
Yeah.
Can we wear it later? Can I just pretend to be you? Can I walk around?
Yeah.
What's the plan for the mask?
I'll ask Colin where it is right now, my co-founder. But yeah, the mask is here. Yeah.
Is it an emotional thing to think about it yet?
No, it was always really kind of like a strategic thing. I mean, the only thing that sucks is like there's a few nice things about being a non. There's like, for example, I never had people come up to me. I could always introduce myself to other people.
Yeah.
So people I didn't want to talk to, like I didn't have to talk to.
Yeah.
Now that's not going to be the case. And I also didn't really have to worry as much about OPSEC, or like being a non is nice for OPSEC, right? Like if you sit out on multi-sig or you have a bunch of money in like in a hot wallet, like I know someone who recently got targeted and like they stole his phone, got a quarter of his net worth out.
But in Paris, I know a lot of.
It was in Argentina.
Okay, during
yeah.
Oh no way!
My God. So that's something that we hope doesn't happen in London. So we've been telling people, don't walk around the streets with your phone in your hand and a bunch of crypto merch and your lanyards and your just don't be silly. It's
basic
a metropolitan city. Yeah. Crime exists. When you walk out of the conference, just be smart about it.
Is it like France where there's people who target?
It's not like France, but it is like any metropolitan city that has crime. So there's a very high amount of people just stealing your phone as you walk past. I don't know that they would target you because you have crypto on your phone. It's just thieves rolling around on scooters is the general theme. But again, be smart with your devices. Don't walk around screaming, "I have crypto and a bunch of stuff on my phone." I think you'll be fine. Yeah. But sorry to hear that happened to your friend in Buenos Aires. Yeah. Shit happens. Don't let it happen to you. Be smart. Have some OPSEC. Now, 2026 is a bit of a question mark in my mind. We had retail adoption proving its worth as far as the chain stability goes in 2024. Massive institutional adoption in 2025. What are we going to be looking at in 2026? Is it going to be cool ICOs? If we look back when we're having a conversation in London, are we going to say 2026 was the year of an ICO revival? Are we going to say 2026 was sort of a slow burner and we focus mainly on infra? What is 2026 going to be the year of?
Yeah, it's always probable that something comes about that like we didn't expect. But honestly, crypto has been around for more than 15 years at this point. What do people do here? Speculation is like a huge part of that. And that's actually not a bad thing. Like the stock market is speculation.
True.
The problem historically is like, with a lot of the crypto speculation is the like return to player. If you want to think of this as a casino, is very low, right? Like if you buy a meme coin, say you buy like $100 of a meme coin, I don't know, maybe like 50 of those dollars, one of those dollars is going to pump fund. 50 of the dollars are maybe going to whoever like created the coin and it's going to like dump on you. You got snipers. yeah, you have like all these people that play this game. You have people who are actually like watching the chain and like actually have edge. And yeah, I expect like, I think MetaDAO, potentially other things will like hopefully improve that return to player, so to speak, right? Like stock markets have the best return to player, which is actually positive. Like you put money in and generally it goes up. Yeah, I think like probably it's boring. It's kind of boring to say at this point, but like, yeah, last year was speculation. Before that, year before that was speculation, and so on and so forth. Probably next year is going to be speculation as well.
Speculation.
Fair point. That's what we do.
Speculation.
Yeah.
And it seems okay. The single most exciting for you development that you're looking forward to in 2026. Then we are going to let you go after this. But the single most exciting thing. I know it's difficult. There's a lot happening. Speculation is sort of a broad idea, but drill a level deeper into it.
I think seeing what happens regulatorily will be like pretty interesting. I think that's like the one seismic shift that could happen next year. So we'll see.
I think it has the potential to have a significant impact on price as well, depending on what happens around the primaries. And if we pass the new legislation as well. So that's an interesting one. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for Profit. Thank you so much for making time to chat.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on.
Really appreciate it. And we will find you. I will, now that I can see who you are, I will find you out there in Breakpoint 2025, and I will ask to take a photo wearing your mask. So thank you so much for making time to chat with us. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.